Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for standing by and welcome to the 3 Mindfulness Strategies to help you, your company, and your community in the next normal. At this time, all participants are in listen-only mode. Please be advised that today's conference is being recorded. If you require any further assistance, please press star 0. I would now like to hand the conference over to your speaker today, Ms. Gina Bryant. Thank you. Please go ahead, madam.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Gina Bryant, and I am the webinar facilitator for the Best and Brightest Companies to Work For. Today's webinar will be recorded and will be able to view next week on the Best and Brightest Companies to Work For website. Attending today's webinar allows you to receive 1 credit hour from SHRM or HRCI. In order to receive that credit, please fill out the survey sent to you via email later on this afternoon. Certificates will then be emailed at the end of next week. If you have any questions during this broadcast, please use the chat feature in the lower left-hand corner of your screen. We will save the questions till the end, and they will be answered at the last part of this presentation. Our presenter today is Denise Shields. Denise is the Director of Curriculum, Delivery, and Research at eMindful. She oversees the end-to-end delivery of eMindful's applied mindfulness programs, including expert-led daily mindfulness sessions, long-form chronic condition programs, and hundreds of hours of on-demand content. Denise holds a Ph.D. in leadership, a master's degree in organizational communication, and is a certified coach through the International Coach Federation. I would now like to turn this broadcast over to Denise. Go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Gina. It's such a pleasure to be here, and welcome everyone. Today we'll begin by covering the challenges of the current COVID-19 pandemic, how mindfulness can help, and then I'll provide you with a few strategies to take back to your teams. We'll also allow you to experience the benefits of mindfulness firsthand, and then we'll conclude by providing you with a complimentary offer and opening it up for questions. Let's start by talking about the challenges facing us in the current climate. So we know that remote work is new for many. Stress and anxiety is high with continued stay-at-home orders and worries about the health of self and loved ones. Physical distancing is causing loneliness and compounding stress. And for many, kids are home on extended breaks and parents are expected to oversee distance learning along with keeping up with their work and other commitments. As a result, productivity is being affected. And of course, the state of our economy is adding to this angst. In fact, I heard this morning that we're now up to 26 million people who have filed for unemployment. So to complicate matters, we know that chronic stress can affect inflammation, chronic disease, and associated healthcare costs, while loneliness and social isolation are associated with a host of negative health consequences, and a lack of social support can also impair productivity, stifle creativity, and hinder decision-making, which can ultimately affect business performance. So clearly resources are needed to cope with all of this, and this is where mindfulness can help. Does anyone remember this thing? So a radio receives many stations at once. And if you imagine that you were to try and listen to all the stations at the same time, you wouldn't know what to pay attention to. It's noisy, disorienting, and stressful. The dial fixes that problem and tunes in so we can hear a single station. This makes your experience in that moment enjoyable. When we think about our situation today, it's like this. We're being inundated with news, social media, emails, etc., all about the COVID-19 pandemic. And all of this is on top of the day-to-day work, family, and relationships we're managing. It's overwhelming for many. So mindfulness is like a high-definition tuner for our minds. Mindfulness helps us to hone in on what's important and happening in this moment, to step outside of the constant noise and the mind chatter that comes along with all of this information and worrying and ruminating about what the future may bring. Mindfulness helps us to connect with what matters most in this moment. So what exactly is mindfulness? It's simply paying attention to what is happening in the present moment with openness, curiosity, and a willingness to be with whatever it is. So it's about noticing what our experience is in this moment, getting out of our thoughts, which, by the way, are estimated to be up to 60,000 per day. That's just what the human mind does. It thinks. And it helps us to connect with ourselves in the here and now. And so mindfulness is a very valuable resource to help us navigate during this time. Let's take a moment now to check in with ourselves. So go ahead, and I invite you to take a conscious breath, a nice deep inhale and exhale, and notice where you feel the effects of stress in your body. And ask yourself, how stressed do you feel now on a scale of 1 to 5, with 1 being not stressed at all and 5 being extremely stressed? And just taking a moment to note that. So if you're like most people right now, you're experiencing a heightened stress level. So let's shift to a practice where you can experience the benefits of a mindful stretching exercise. Once again, I invite you to take a slow and conscious breath. You can close your eyes or soften your gaze. And please take care as you stretch. The aim here isn't to see how far you can stretch, but rather to inhabit the body in a mindful way. Noticing your posture, lengthening the spine, and pulling your shoulders back and down. Bringing attention to the breath and the body. And now taking another long and slow breath. And on the out-breath, gently lower your chin toward your chest, noticing the sensations of this simple stretch. Release, and on your next in-breath, reach your arms up and overhead. Turning your palms toward each other. Reaching toward the sky and letting awareness be in the body. As you exhale, slowly and very gently bend to one side, noticing the sensations felt on the side of the body. And coming back to center, and on the next exhale, gently bending toward the opposite side. Again, noticing the sensations. And coming back to center again, reaching upward, holding your attention in the body. Releasing and coming back to a neutral position and noticing any sensations within the body. And now taking another moment to choose your own stretch, moving in slow motion. Keeping awareness in the body and the breath. Moving slowly and mindfully. Release and pause to simply be mindful of your breath and body right now. And as we conclude this practice, you might want to give yourself a neck or shoulder rub as you savor the sensations of pressure and touch. And when you're ready, slowly open your eyes. And taking a moment to reflect on how you feel now. Did your stress level decrease? And you might think about how you can use this brief stretching practice at any time during your day. So let's shift now and take a look at our first strategy, which is using mindfulness to reduce stress. So we've been thrust into this new reality that is disruptive and uncertain. And the added stress can take a toll on our health and well-being. I like to think of mindfulness as being an antidote to stress. So it's a practice that we can apply in the moment to help us reduce the impact of all of these additional stressors. Mindfulness improves overall health and well-being, making you healthier, happier, and more resilient. Mindfulness is an evidence-based practice that's been demonstrated to reduce stress and improve health. So when our bodies react to threats, our stress response surges cortisol and adrenaline into our systems. Mindfulness helps us to take back control of our parasympathetic nervous system. And this results in a reduction of stress and inflammation. Mindfulness also supports our mental and emotional health. With practice, it helps us step out of the thought patterns that we get stuck in, from ruminating and catastrophizing about what could happen. It helps us to connect with what's happening right now, bringing about a more calm and balanced state. We also know that ongoing anxiety and uncertainty affects our sleep. And so again, by reducing stress with this practice, this helps us to get the necessary restorative sleep. And we're also seeing increased evidence on how reducing stress through mindfulness boosts our immunity. Mindfulness also enhances our well-being. So it helps us to connect with ourselves, building self-awareness and self-compassion. It helps us connect with others and strengthen our relationships so that we can show up and be open and present to others. It can also help us manage the financial stress, which is increasing for so many given the loss of jobs and uncertain economic times. We can use mindfulness to connect to a sense of purpose, which can serve as an anchor during these uncertain times. And we'll talk a little bit more about purpose when we get to strategy 3. So we know that mindfulness can help in each of these areas, as well as other areas as we navigate the next normal. So let's shift to our next strategy, which is on mindful leadership. As leaders, we're all navigating uncharted territory. Many are being asked to manage teams virtually, sometimes for the first time. Others are experiencing downsizing and laying off and furloughing team members. And leaders are doing all of this while juggling our own personal and professional situations amidst the ongoing and evolving situation. So in this time of unease and uncertainty, your team needs your mindful leadership more than ever. They need your calm presence and a sense of clarity, focus, and connection. And this can be very difficult when you're experiencing the ups and downs of these uncertain times as well. So mindfulness helps us to focus on what's most important right now. It helps us increase our self-awareness and self-regulation, leading to be able to see things more clearly and to know what to do. It increases our compassion for ourselves and others, and also the flexibility that we need to manage ongoing change with our people and with our work. So how does this work? How does mindfulness help us develop these skills of focus, clarity, compassion, and flexibility? Well, let's go ahead and shift to a mindful leadership practice. And this practice is on self-regulation. So if you're like most leaders right now, you're going through the workday in a chronic state of stress, known as a fight or flight mode. Dealing with the changing situation, there to help your team members. And short term, this causes us to react rather than respond, which can often make things worse. Long term, being in a fight or flight mode will wear us down physically and mentally. So what is fight or flight? It's the body's natural protective mechanism. While we aren't being chased by tigers anymore, we are wired to go on high alert whenever we sense a threat. And this can happen in the workplace anytime something doesn't go according to plan or some new piece of information comes up, a new change, something else that we need to consider. Mindfulness helps us become familiar with the experience of going into fight or flight. So you become aware of physical sensations in the body, such as tension in the neck or a pit in the stomach. You might feel the heart beating faster or your face getting flushed. You may notice that the mind gets busy thinking stressful thoughts like, we're never going to meet our deadline, or this is the worst thing that could happen. How will we ever get through this? And then to top things off, you might experience a swirl of negative emotions like anger, fear, or frustration. So the practice is to note your present moment experience with curiosity and kindness, knowing that these sensations, thoughts, and feelings may be signals that the body has gone into fight or flight mode. And then instead of reacting, we can allow this information to act as a cue to pause. So let's go ahead and step into the practice, allowing yourself a moment to pause, settling into your chair in a position that's both comfortable and alert, feeling your feet on the floor, and inviting the back to straighten a bit. Letting the arms relax at the sides, or placing the hands in your lap. And gently opening the chest for easy breathing. Lowering or closing the eyes. Noticing that you are breathing and now becoming aware of the natural cycle of the breath. Not needing to control it in any way. Simply being present to the sensations of the breath as it moves in and out of the body. With each out-breath, seeing if you can settle a little more deeply into your seat. Aware of where the body is in contact with the chair and the floor. Expanding awareness to other sensations in the body. Warmth, coolness, hunger, fullness, tightness, relaxation, whatever your experience is. Maybe noticing the sensations of the shoes on the feet or clothing on the skin. Maybe feeling the heart beating breath by breath, simply noticing any sensations you're experiencing in the body. And maybe becoming aware of any emotions that are present. Boredom, sadness, happiness, anger, or any other emotions that you may be aware of. Just gently checking in on what the internal weather is like right now. And doing this without evaluating or judging yourself in any way. Simply creating space to be with any emotions as they are here and now. And offering kindness to yourself for whatever that experience may be. And knowing that if any emotion becomes a little too much for you, you can always return the attention back to the breath as it flows in and out of the body. And shifting your awareness now to the sensations of the breath. And seeing if you can follow the full breath in and the full breath out. And as we near the end of this practice, following 3 more cycles of the breath, as you breathe in and breathe out. And then allowing the eyes to open slowly if they're closed, and reacquainting yourself with your space, and perhaps inviting the body to gently move or stretch. So mindfulness empowers us as leaders with awareness of whatever is happening within us in the moment. And when we do this practice on a regular basis, it strengthens our ability to work with stress, to bring awareness to a stressful situation. And the next time you find that something isn't going the way that you had imagined, or things are not working out as you expected, try pausing and tuning into your present moment experience. And see how this brings you back to a place of balance. All right, let's go ahead now, and we're going to shift to our strategy number 3. Mindfulness for the COVID-19 pandemic. So, we've talked about how stress and anxiety is exacerbated at this time So we need mindfulness practice more than ever as a way to build resilience or the ability to recover quickly from all of these difficulties. And it's important to stay connected with others during this time of social distancing and stay-at-home orders. People do better mentally, physically, and emotionally when they connect with others during times of crisis. There's actually evidence that suggests that the health risks of being alone are comparable in magnitude to the risks that are associated with tobacco use, high blood pressure, and obesity. So connections are really, really critical right now. And finally, connection to purpose can help us maintain more balance during the challenges of these times. So let's explore purpose a little bit further. Having a strong sense of purpose improves both physical and mental health, and it enhances our overall quality of life. It's linked to a lower risk of death, actually, according to a study that's been published recently in the JAMA Network Open. Quite simply, purpose is the reason we get up every morning. And right now it can be difficult to find purpose and engage in fulfilling acts while people are under quarantine in some cases and stay-at-home orders. So finding daily motivation and a reason for being helps individuals navigate these challenging times, and it boosts our mental and emotional health. So purpose is about connecting with what matters most. So what are your values and principles that guide you? And what are those unique gifts that you offer to others? And it can be as simple as offering a listening ear, caring for your family, doing the best you can at work. But some sense of purpose is becoming more and more critical right now as we navigate these uncertain times. It provides individuals and teams direction and meaning. And a little bit later, I'll share with you what we're doing at eMindful to support this connection with purpose. So we are going to transition to our final practice. And this practice is designed to help us connect with kindness and compassion for ourselves and for others. You'll recall that when we talked about mindful leadership, the importance for leaders to show up from a place of compassion and understanding for their peers, colleagues, and team members. It's also, of course, important for all of us as individuals to offer that kindness and compassion as we go through our day-to-day lives. So cultivating compassion can empower us to navigate through times of change and uncertainty more skillfully. It's a positive feeling that involves showing kindness, caring, and the willingness to help others. And in the workplace, it has to do with how we treat each other. Somewhere along the way, many of us have learned to wear our stress like a badge of honor. And busyness sometimes makes us act in ways that perhaps aren't always thoughtful. Being focused on getting the job done, at times we forget that we're all human beings just trying to get through this challenging time and to get the job done as best we can. Sometimes it's easy to forget that people have other responsibilities and added stress outside of their work as we're experiencing in this current climate. And the truth is that we cannot separate ourselves into parts, a work self and a home self, so to speak. So even when we are trying not to bring our troubles to work, we carry them. We're all human. And cultivating compassion is an inside-out job. It begins with oneself and then it expands to others. So this means that we give ourselves a break when something doesn't go as planned, rather than feeling guilty. And you know, we might notice thoughts like, I should have done it that way, or I should have thought about that, or why did I say that? Mindfulness helps us to first notice these thoughts, and then we pause and bring our attention back to the here and now, and back to the breath, and back to seeing what's possible in this moment. Sometimes we wish our teammates or colleagues, family members would be different, right? More organized, more courageous, more able to communicate, whatever. And we know that there's always going to be people that we feel more aligned with, that maybe are more similar to us, and that makes working with them easier. But when we can show up from a place of compassion rather than judgment, then we reduce our own stress levels. We more easily avoid gossip, and we can model positive workplace behaviors. Accepting people for who they are means that we acknowledge their contributions and have compassion for their challenges or limitations. Accepting people for who they are doesn't mean that we should accept unacceptable behaviors. It's important to hold each other accountable, but compassionate behaviors around being open to understanding. So let's go ahead and transition now to the practice. Once again, giving yourself permission to pause. Finding your way to a comfortable posture, gently rolling the shoulders back to open the chest, closing the eyes or lowering them. And bringing the attention to your breath. Noting how the breath is in this moment and allowing it to be just as it is. Following the breath as it moves in and out of the body without any effort. And seeing if you can allow your body to settle into the chair a little more with each breath. Letting your attention rest on the sensations of the body, breathing in, and the body breathing out. And paying attention to the full cycle of the breath from beginning to end. And now allowing these words and phrases to gently come in, or silently repeating them in your own mind and heart. May I be happy. May I be safe. May I be peaceful. May I be well. Following the breath in and out. And now bringing to mind the image of one of your colleagues, someone you enjoy working with. And now perhaps offering these wishes for well-being to them. May this person be happy. May this person be safe. May this person be peaceful. May this person be well. Aware of the breath moving in and out of the body. And possibly now bringing to mind the image of another colleague. This time, maybe someone you've had some differences with, maybe someone who might have different priorities, or maybe a communication style that is a challenge for you. And as you imagine this person, seeing if it's possible to offer these wishes for well-being to them. May this person be happy. May this person be safe. May this person be peaceful. May this person be well. And when you're ready, allowing the image of this person to fade from your mind's eye and taking a moment to notice how you feel right now. Once again, bringing your attention back to breathing in and out. Following 3 more cycles of the breath. And being as present as is possible for each breath. Opening the eyes if they were closed. And taking a moment to acknowledge yourself for taking this moment of mindfulness. Such a powerful quote. The anxiety of life is going to continue. And as we learn and practice to live in the moment and live in the breath, this is a resource that will help us to get through this difficult time. I hope you found the practice helpful. So we're going to shift gears here, and I would like to share with you that eMindful is here, and we're committed to helping you during this time. At eMindful, we offer live, expert-led, interactive mindfulness sessions that bring people together virtually several times a day. And this helps to create a deeper connection to ourselves and others. We also help to build practical skills that can be integrated into daily life to help you cope with this current situation. We offer fresh content daily to what is relevant for what's going on in the world right now. So content that can help you as we continue to navigate this period of change and the next normal. Just as an example, popular content in the last couple of weeks has included calming uncertainty and confusion, being present with discomfort, sleep meditations, and quick relief mindfulness practices. And finally, we've woven the power of purpose into our solution with Vibe Tribes. This is a pay-it-forward program to help individuals and the world around us. And it's a way for participants to come together around a larger purpose, something that will serve the greater community and world around us. So let's take a look at what this actually is. You can see some examples here on the left of some of the different mindful dailies that we offer and that are touching on all of these different topics. And on the right, you can see that we have numerous areas that we help our participants work through to manage their health and well-being. So in summary, we know that stress and uncertainty affects our health and well-being. Mindfulness skills help us to cope with this difficult time and to be able to build resilience. And there are 3 strategies that we highlighted that you can take back to your teams and your community. So strategies that you can build in throughout the day, whether it's mindful stretching or just bringing mindful awareness to your breath, mindful leadership practices to help become aware of thoughts and emotions and to be able to manage those, and the practice that we just engaged in that helps us build compassion and kindness for ourselves and others. I want to turn to share with you that we have an offer for you. So we are making our M-Life solution available right now for free for the next 90 days. So we have opened up our platform to many organizations, and we're happy to extend this to all of the best and brightest companies so that you have the opportunity to have access to the mindfulness practices that can support you and your teams as you continue to cope and thrive in the coming months. Our solution is set up so that it's turnkey. There's no implementation required, and it's already been set up for you. So by clicking on that link, you'll be able to register and begin to take advantage of the mindfulness solutions that we offer. And here's an example of the toolkit that we've created that outlines all of the details for actually registering and onboarding on either the mobile app or on the web. So we have a few minutes now for any questions. So Gina, I'll turn it back to you to see if we have any questions.
Hi, Denise. Yeah, we do have a queue. We do have a few questions for you. One of the questions being, with time being an issue, which practice do you feel is the one we should do if we can't do them all?
Great question. So the easiest practice to build into your day is to simply bring your attention to the breath. So this is something that you can do in a fast-paced day. You can do it in between meetings. So just take 1 minute to just stop and bring attention to the breath. We actually have a practice that's called Stop that's a little bit longer, but that along with other very short practices are available through our solution that are guided as well.
Great. Also, what if I try to do this, but my mind doesn't stop and allow me to get into that meditative state?
Oh my gosh, another great question, and please know that this is what everyone experiences when they try to do this. So that is the nature of the mind. So the mind is busy. Remember I said something about up to 60,000 thoughts a day? So the idea or the practice of mindfulness and meditation is not about like stopping those thoughts, because they're going to happen. That's just what our minds do. And so the practice is really building the muscle to be able to notice and focus on the breath. So you notice the thoughts, and then you bring your attention back to the breath or to another object. So it's a practice that you don't have to do sitting down either. You know, a lot of times we think we have to, sit on a meditation cushion and sit cross-legged to practice. That's absolutely not true. You can practice mindfulness standing up. You can practice while you're standing in line. Well, right now we're not standing in lines, right? But when we are standing in line, you can just take a moment really anywhere to take a brief pause and notice what's happening for you. So I encourage you to experiment with different ways to find out what's most comfortable for you to begin building this muscle, this focus muscle, and realizing the benefits of mindfulness.
It looks like a few people asked about websites and places they can go for meditation practices. Can we put that slide back up on where we can register with you?
Yes. Let me go back here.
Okay.
Yes, so here is the link, and it's also in the chat there.
Okay.
You can click on that link, and this will take you right into our platform. This is a little bit small, but when you get in there, you'll be able to go ahead and register. It's just a quick process of registering, picking a screen name. There's a quick little onboarding, and then the next thing you know, you're on the eMlife platform, and you can begin taking advantage of the Mindful Dailies. Our Mindful Dailies, by the way, are only 14 minutes in length. So 14 minutes is 1% of your day. So when we talk about not having enough time, it's kind of relative, isn't it? You know, when you think about 1% of your day, if I'm going to do something that's really going to help my health and well-being and leadership, that's not a lot of time. And we actually offer the Mindful Dailies 16 times a day. So these are all led by expert teachers, and the topics are changing daily. There's always a practice built in, And the advantage is you get to practice in community with others.
Okay. Wow, there was a lot of information you gave us today. Thank you very much for this wonderful, relaxing past hour. I want to remind everyone that a survey is going to be sent to you later on this afternoon. If you need your SHRM or HRCI credits from today, please fill that out. Again, thank you, Denise. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in today. Have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe and stay healthy, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. It was a pleasure to be here with you today, and we look forward to seeing you on our MLife platform. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.